Hello, hello. Welcome to our writing lesson for today. Today, we are going to be writing about something really special. And this is something that we write about at the end of the year. We are going to be writing about how we changed from the beginning of first grade until now, the end of first grade. What are some things that are different about you? Is your hair longer? Is it shorter? Do you have less teeth? Have you lost some teeth? Do you run faster on the playground when you play tag? Do you play a different sport than what you played at the beginning of the year? Do you like to play different games with your friends or with your brothers and sisters? And we can think about also what are some things that we've learned this year. You've learned a lot of things. Think about in math. What's something new that you learned in math this year that you didn't know at the beginning of first grade? You've learned all types of addition tricks. Miss Jocelyn learned new ways to do addition and subtraction from teaching you. I've grown a lot this year too. You've learned a lot of different shapes, new shapes. Think about the shapes that you didn't even know existed last year. Think about how about for some of our reading. I've learned a lot about whales. Do you remember that Making Meaning book that we read right before we all stayed home about whales and how they journey for many, 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 many miles? I didn't know that stuff before. How about chameleons? I learned a lot of new things about chameleons that I didn't even know I didn't know. So what are some things that you've changed? How are some ways that you've changed? How about ways that you now take care of your friends and your family? How do you take care of your community differently than at the beginning of first grade? What do you do differently to make sure that all of your friends and people and animals and stuff are all safe around you? What do you do? So I'm going to write my letter, my little writing. Oops. You see I have the paper just like we have at school. This is where I'm going to draw my self-portrait, and I'm going to save this till the end because I'm not going to do this first. I'm going to do my writing first because I want to write about all the ways that I've changed this year. Things that are different about me now that were not the same before. So I'm going to use this area down here for my writing. And I have so much to write about that I'm going to write a whole nother page. Ooh. There's a lot to write about. So this might take you 2 times to sit down and write it. And that's okay. You can sit down, think about it. Maybe you want to start on another piece of paper and just write down everything that comes to your mind. And then you can look at your list and look at your list and use that list to help you do your writing. That's actually what I did here. You see that I made a list of all these things that changed about me this year. So I'm going to use this list. I'm going to use this list to help me write my writing. So here we go. Are we ready? Let's see all the ways Miss Jocelyn changed. And I changed a lot. Okay, so we are going to start. Remember, when we're writing, we always use full sentences, right? Full sentences. We can't just say, I run. That's not a full sentence. We need to add more to it, right? We need to make sure that we have a lot of detail in our writing so that the reader really knows what we're talking about, so that they can see what it is that we're writing about. So here's how I'm going to start my writing. Does the first letter need to be an uppercase or a lowercase? You got it. Always uppercase. So uppercase I changed. This is a sight word actually. Changed a lot. This year. Period. I changed a lot this year. I run faster. This is true. I time myself. I run faster. Oops, that's an R. And I love olives now. And I love, L-O-V-E, love, sight word, olives. I never liked olives before. Now I like them. What else? I told you one way. I learned how to add and subtract a new way from teaching you to do that way. I never knew this way before, and now I know it. I learned, how do we spell learn? L-E-A-R-N. Awesome. Learned. Get down here. Great, you can still see. I learned how to add and subtract in a new way. Do you want to know the new way, the new trick that I learned that I didn't know before? And one of you taught me how to do it. When we're adding big numbers, for example, 15 plus 4. You put 15 in your head first. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 19. I never knew that trick before, and I learned it. That's one way I changed. What else? Ooh, I learned how to take care of my community better by asking friends if they need help when they're sad. So I'm going to say that. I learned how do we spell take? Bossy E. Ache. Ache. Great. Care of my community. Whew, that's a long word. Okay, I'm going to put this right over here. I learned to take care of my community by asking who knows how to spell friends? Friend, that's a sight word. By asking friends if they need, how do we spell help? We can sound that one out. Help. Help. And talking to them when they are sad. Talking. T-A-L-K-I-N-G. Talking. To them when they are sad. They need a friend to talk to. Now, I knew how to do this before, but I learned how to do this even better this year. I learned how to do it even more. That's another way that I've changed this year. So this is good for me. I'm going to leave this here, but what do we need at the end of our writing? what do we need in the last sentence? We need an ending sentence. Do you remember Miss Stacy and Miss Shays talked about that? You need a sentence that ends in kind of in an exciting way, that kind of talks about what all of this, what your writing is about. So my ending sentence is going to say, I grew a lot in first grade. I grew, ooh, EW makes the ooh sound. A lot is 2 words. A lot in first grade. And I'm going to put an exclamation point because I'm really excited about that. I'm excited about how much I've grown and how much I've changed this year. I grew a lot in first grade. And you have too. And Miss Shays and Miss Rosa and Miss Stacy, we all want to see what you write about yourself, about how you've changed. What are some ways that you've changed? We want to know how you've grown. Because these changes are all something that you should be really proud of. You worked really hard this year. So let's write all the stuff down that you've changed, how you've changed, what you've learned. Write it down so that you can go back and look and say, wow, I learned a new way to add and subtract that I didn't know before. And maybe that was hard. Maybe that was really hard to learn how to do that. But I learned something new, right? And now I've grown. Things are different. Okay, so, Plant really wants in this video. Excuse me, stay there. Okay, so now, once you have written your writing about how you've changed, what's different, then you're going to move on to the portrait. Okay, so click on the next link. Excuse me. Click on the next link to see how Miss Jocelyn does her self-portrait. Okay, happy writing. Can't wait to read it.